So I actually have a bit of a more general question, perhaps to the panel, but also to some of the other speakers. But actually, Klaus prompted this thought in my head. The one thing that I've not heard mentioned so far is the Green Deal data space that is being promoted by the Commission. I think, Klaus, maybe you kind of alluded to it when you started mentioning some of the European Environment Agency and some of the initiatives. I noticed Copernicus was on the bottom of a couple of the slides from one of the other speakers. And I just wondered where perhaps either the panel or perhaps some of the other speakers from the previous session, where they saw the intersection between EGDI and the Green Deal data space, because obviously the Commission is promoting this as a common collaborative space, a cross-domain space, where many of these issues potentially can be addressed but provide wider impact for GSEU and the Geological Data Framework as well.
Well, of course, the Green Deal is very important for Europe, and it's very important for GeoZS surveys to contribute to. And I think that we can really, all the expert group of GeoZS surveys can contribute to implement the Green Deal and get as much as possible out. I think, well, the subsurface is, and knowledge about the subsurface is indispensable in this respect. And of course, this is something that we need to cover very, very well in this area also and relate to that. I don't know, maybe.
Just to add that in many of European projects today, we are starting to collect data on agriculture for the Green Deal, all this project on the Green Deal, but I don't think there is links today, so it's maybe a good point for the next area.
I have one comment. Green Deal also deals with the environment, and we should take into account that we could contribute quite a lot if we have a good planning for spatial planning, for instance, and to reduce human intervention to the environment.
Yeah, maybe I can also add to that in the Green Deal, and for efficient implementation of that, we will, I'm sure, see a lot of increasing pressure on the subsurface and a lot of competing uses of the subsurface that we need to develop the right tools to address and prioritize.
Thank you, Klaus. I think we have a question from Gilles.
Yeah, that's me again. I'm sorry. Again, I would like to thank you for this important work in the very nice SRIA you have produced, and I was very happy and delighted to read it. And I will be probably the black sheep or the blue sheep. So I think there is an important point. It's always the marine environment. And for the geohazards, we will need a lot of understanding of the marine geohazards, like landslides, tsunami related. And I wonder to know if you have any connection with the IOC. You know, there is a big international intergovernmental group to follow the tsunami area, especially in Europe and in Mediterranean. And you all know the big Storegga slide related to the climate change in that, and it was a very important geohazard. And now we are going more at the ocean with infrastructure, wind farm. All of this will be at sea, and I wonder how this has been integrated in the SRIA, because I didn't find it just some points, but not a lot about the marine environment. And you will hear me a lot, because I will come back to that every time. What about the marine state? Sorry, I'm a marine geologist. So.
Thank you, Gilles.
The bad guy in the assembly.
Well, thank you for the question. Actually, I need to disappoint you a little bit because I was just involved in the preparation in this SRIA not so long. And perhaps I could ask Eleftheria, she was involving in preparation of SRIA and GEUS from the beginning. Eleftheria, would you please help me to answer? Or come to the stage, please?
Eleftheria
Is over there.
Just to say that, of course, it's important, I agree, and it must be incorporated in the SRIA. It's a gap, probably, you're right.
Thank you for your question. Of course, we will deal with marine geohazards. For us, geohazards are not happening only on shore, but also offshore. So yes, they are included. We should maybe mention them more. And also we have in mind that geohazards have cascading effects. So we have a fault in the sea, an earthquake, and then a tsunami, and maybe some landslides. So yes, they are all connected. Thank you for your question, and we will try to incorporate.
Thank you, Eleftheria. More from the audience.
Can I just add also?
Of course.
I can tell you that we actually, if we are talking a bit about groundwater, coming back to groundwater, we had initiative within the previous GeoERA program, and we have also tried it this time within the GSU to get closer collaboration on groundwater in coastal regions and collaborate on groundwater, submarine discharge, etc. The interest back in the GeoERA program was not that big, but I'm sure we will continue exploring possibilities of collaborating on the coastal zone between marine geologists and hydrogeologists.
Thank you. Marco.
Yes, Marco Petita, Advisory Board, Sapienza University of Rome. I also read the document, the SRIA document, very complete and exhaustive, a lot of information, well done. But at the same time, especially for in general, it's a general question, but especially addressed to the science or the topics we are more concretely related to the protection of the territory of the resources, like both of you, of your topic. The general question is how to monitor the progress into the GSU. How do you think to check the achievement step by step or at the end of the project, to be sure that it's a very ambitious program, I know, you know, but I'm sure that you can reach several of the goals that you are stated, but do you think, especially for applied sciences, applied disciplines, probably we need some additional tools for monitoring the progress into the GSU? I don't know, it's too early for this question, probably.
Yeah,
I'm not part of the panel.
otherwise I would ask Francesco to answer this question more generally. If from the groundwater perspective, you're a groundwater person yourself, I agree that we should find a way to monitor the progress and that we are ensuring how to do that. I'm not sure we have discussed, but Laurence and I discussed also a bit earlier that it's ambitious. How do we ensure that we reach all the goals? I don't know if you have comments to that, Laurence.
My comment is that it's important, and I think we are really very ambitious, and so I don't think we have the reply to this question, because we are very different institute also. So most of the topics, some people will not do it, some they will focus on that, some are more advanced on that. So one by one in GS, maybe we can reply, but altogether it's a big challenge, and we hope also to have support from also Europe or other institutes, because if alone we will not do it, it's quite sure. It's a very ambitious program, but we need to be ambitious.
Exactly, that's what I want to point out. I think we really need to be ambitious in this kind of document, even not realistic. For example, Mattea said in the presentation, we predict. The prediction, of course, is something that is ideal in GeoZS, as you know. You cannot predict earthquake, of course, But of course, we can do a lot in use geological data and monitoring for improve the assessment, for prevention, and this is really what we can do, and we have a lot of data that can be shared in this direction if they are interpreted properly. So this is something that we must do.
Yeah, I agree with that. We need to be ambitious, and we need to be ambitious. We need to be so ambitious that we also need to involve others than Eurogeo surveys, other institutions. We need to collaborate. I also mentioned in one of the slides that we need to do transdisciplinary work, and that also involves other type of institutions, that social economy and others that are important for developing, for instance, implementing the Green Deal, etc., in the correct way. It's important for us, but how we. So, Marco, we are very open to good ideas of how we monitor our progress.
Marco. No, it's perfect. I love it. I love it. I wish everybody asked so many questions.
Sorry again, I'm bothering you with all these questions. I'll probably stop or leave early so everybody else can have some time to speak. You mentioned prediction. That was something that I also noticed in the document. In one of my previous lives, I was involved with many mathematicians and physicists, and there was a long discussion about the difference between forecast and prediction. And prediction is something you don't want to do because it's 100%. And if you predict something and it doesn't happen, you're going to be held responsible. So avoid the word prediction and exchange it for forecast, because forecast has a extent of error in it. There's always a possibility that nature goes its own way, while prediction is something that God created, probably, I don't know. But anyhow, I suggest you switch the words from prediction to forecasting. Okay? Thanks.
Marco. And if there are no further questions, I have one last small remark and a question for you also. There was one topic that we didn't cover today, and it's about urban geology. But in urban geology, there are a lot of the things that we discussed, because it's shallow geothermal, well, of course, GeoZS, groundwater. Maybe we can have a quick round. You can say a bit your point of view why urban geology is in the sphere. Maybe we can start with Luca.
I can say something about it. I know that I'm not involved in the urban geology expert group, but it was really great to find this topic as a new topic in the strategic agenda, like geoheritage also. These are topics that were not so much considered in the past, but now are emerging. And concerning urban geology, the reason why we want to go in this area is because we believe really that it's needed that any infrastructure that is in the subsoil of a city or urban areas needs a geological model. And this is important in the design of the infrastructure. It's clear, and to do it, we want to establish common standards with BRGM models, for example, and the idea is to define vocabularies similar to what is done in ISPRA, to use a common language to improve the dialogue between our community with the people that are in charge of designing infrastructure, and generally, typically don't take care enough of our knowledge. This is the idea. Then the second point, I have to tell it because my colleague Francesco Lavinia is very stressing this point, is the importance of measuring, monitoring the impact of the footprint of the geology in the urban areas. And this is also very, very important because if we want to have a quantitative measure to know the impact of any policies at in urban area on the geology, in positive or in negative, in terms of resources, in terms of GeoZS reduction or increasing. That's not good. It's very important, and is the only way or the best way to dialogue with policymakers. So that's why it's important. And also geoheritage has been not analyzed in detail, but I think it is very important in terms of updating inventories, making population aware about the importance of protecting geosites, and also to foster and endorse common legislation, maybe at the European level, to protect our geoheritage across Europe.
To work more than first in urban area, there is more and more people living, so it's important to take care of all these people. And I think in groundwater there are some specific topics in urban areas that are not the same. We are in the past focusing a lot on agriculture, on diffuse pollution and so on. There are specific topics in groundwater, and then we have also to take care of them now. I think it's important.
From the perspective of geohazard and environmental risk, of course, urban geology and urban areas are clear. That is also in this area, because urban areas are particularly on the hazard area, some of them, not of all, of course. And we should take look about the monitoring techniques to monitoring, especially due to also human interventions in the environment, and find a way that minimize the impact of hazards in these urban areas.
And now you are mentioning it, Francesco, I would like to also promote the Italian Groundwater Journal, which just published a special issue on groundwater in European cities, which was actually, I believe it was by the initiative of Francesco Lavigna, and he is the editor of that special issue. And it's a collaboration between urban geology and water resources expert groups. So, yeah, I forgot to put a link to that on the slides. I'm sorry for that.
We're very happy to provide that to everybody. And, well, join me in thanking Klaus, Mattea, Lorenz,